Good afternoon, everybody. Still awake? Alive and well? Breathing, hopefully. I know this is a very hard time to be learning anything. At this hour, our stomach is probably doing all the work and not up here. So there are a couple of things that I would like to maybe start off with. I noticed that in the poster it said health promotion, correct? But we haven't really done our work in terms of defining what that is, at least for this particular conversation. And if you can see, I'm not very formal. I tend to thrive more in a discussion manner, so I would like to ask for your help in this particular session. I would give out this post-it notes. Just take 2 each, and then write down, just take one and give it to other. And take one and write down what you think is health promotion. There's no right and wrong. Nobody knows that it's going to be you writing it down. I'm not going to judge you, give you A or D on this. So just write it down because I need to know what you think it is. Now, while you're doing that, I'm just going to share a little bit about what to expect from this presentation. I know that once you do a presentation in a very excellent education institution such as Rekon, then people expect you to be very scientific and very formal and very wise and evidence-based. That is not what you're going to get from my presentation. Because I would like to do several things. There's not going to be any quick answer from this presentation. That's one, so don't expect it. The second one would be, there will be more questions because it's a discussion and we're trying to get the answers together. And the last one is, we may have several good ideas to move forward. And this is the things that I would like to pitch to you and convince you that you might want to try when you delve further into this particular field. As you can see, I'm very passionate about this particular field. My name is Tika Wulandari. People call me Tika because I just don't like using my first name because it creates a very high expectation. So I just go by the name Tika. Because as a Tika, you expect somebody coming out of a beauty salon. Maybe some Botox, skin lift, or whatever, which I'm not. So my background is actually in communication. But then I happen to marry a doctor and we are missing the pillow talk. We have nothing in common in terms of, field of study. So I was like, maybe I could study medicine. But that's too late. Okay, I don't want to spend 6 more years studying on a field that I completely don't understand. So where is that, middle ground? Is public health. So I started learning health promotion. And then I got it, I have a job that actually works in that particular field, and I was just hooked. I'm hooked because of several things that I will pass on to you. So everybody has what is health promotion? Kind of. Just write it down, it's fine. I'm not going to test you on this. I'm just going to get a quick peek on what... It's okay. If you don't remember, it's okay. Do you know why I was asking this question? Because while I was writing this presentation, I was struggling with it. So you are not alone. I'm going to sing now. You are not alone. Yes, high five there. Thank you. What is health promotion? And I have 2 answers for that. The short one and the long one. The short one would be, I don't know. Personally, I don't know anymore. Because there's just so many versions of it. so many paradigms, so many new methods, so many definitions that I am, as a person who's working in the field, I myself is struggling with the definition. So I try to go back to what is the basic. I start with the four critical questions that I would like to pose in this particular presentation. First of all, what is health promotion? Second, how has it been implemented? Because the title of my session is Implementation in the Real World. And then, is it the best way to get the result? Are we doing it correctly? And by correctly, I would also revisit that question. And the last one, what can we do better? There's always intriguing. Even if we miss, even if we fail at something, the next question would be, how can we do it better? Otherwise, the failure will mean nothing. So always ask that question. And I'm going to ask that question here as well. So, what is health promotion? I don't need to see your names, just just stick your sticky notes up my arm. Just stick it. Just stick. Stick. Huh? Stick. Stick. I'm not looking, people. It's okay. Thank you. It's like this is very convenient sampling. I'm sorry. Not academically. Anybody else has paper? It's okay. Just give it. I'm just going to have like a quick read. Thank you. So, by the way, this is facilitating. Just facilitation skill. People. Okay. And this is like, no, it's okay. I'm just trying to scramble it for your perception. Okay, health promotion. Enabling people to gain control of determinant of health. This is from the Untitled Chapter. You are reading your manual cover to cover, people. Okay. Or giving education to do exercise, education and facilities for workers to do exercise regularly. Okay, so I'm just going to randomly promote about health to public, individual, or community. Maybe you should get another one. Usually, if I'm doing the actual facilitation, that would be my qualitative research. Health promotion. Enabling process to make individual have more control over determinants of health issues. Oh my God. All of you get A's for your health promotion. That's correct, because when I was struggling with it, I've been doing a lot of things in the field of health promotion, health communication, behavior change communication, social behavior change communication, you name it. Every time I apply for a job, consultancy job usually, I have to change my job title in accordance to the paradigm that is actually consistent with the organization that puts it out. So it's certainly, UNICEF would go for social and behavior change communication. And then if you work for maybe Ministry of Health, then health promotion specialist. And then other would be like behavior change communication specialist, change communication. So a lot of it is very institution-based. And there's a lot of buzzwords. You know what I mean, buzzwords? Because this particular field is driven by communication people. And communication people have the strength in marketing, branding. So a lot of people comes up with a lot of things all the time. But don't get lost. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. So when I was lost, I go back to this Ottawa Charter. It's very long, and I have problems with it as well. But it's a good place to start because, 1986, a lot of people agreed to it. But I would like to highlight one part that I want to challenge a little bit. And I would challenge it in this presentation. the bold part says, health promotion, the process of enabling people to increase control over and to improve their health. So the assumption would be that people actually have control. Correct? Just park that thought, and we will revisit while we're doing and examining the latest trends in health communication, health promotion. Okay? So, control. Is that really a thing? So if we look at Ottawa Charter, you should memorize this. You should know this because your definition was already on point. So 5 key actions, what is it? Policy. Supporting environment. You can just read it.
You got all A's.
Yay! So building healthy public policy. Public policy relates to advocacy. That's what they're doing. A lot of it is advocacy work. Creating supportive environments. That means you're designing the environment in a way that is that will enable people to do better decisions in health. Reorienting health services, making sure that when people need it, there is a service to actually fulfill that need. And then developing personal skills. There's a lot of the times that you have to do counseling. You know, it's on the individual level. You want this person to be able to make better decisions. That's the personal skills. And then the strengthening community actions. So there are all those 5 things. And actually, when you see it that way, you kind of figure out, so where is the change and the communication and all the things that you usually relate to doing health promotion? Kind of. It's in all of them. All of them needs communication. So sometimes when people come up to me, okay, what do you do exactly? Behavior change communication. And they go, depending on where they work, they go, oh, what is that again? Or, oh, okay, because not many people are actually doing it. You just see 3 people out of maybe 5. There's 4 with Sila, so we just have to find another one outside. There's not a lot of people who are implementing this particular field of work. So, what are the trends now? Judy was asking me, like, what do you want to talk about? And I was like, I want to examine what is out there. Because when you study something, you usually study it from books. You don't study about what's going on. And the book is almost always late. So you should expect that. Like, and as a student, I would really encourage you to try to have a critical review of the trend, what is out there, what is the actual things that is happening, and then cross-check it with your books and figure out whether it's actually still relevant and consistent. We are going to see a couple of things that is interesting. Anybody has seen this? Stunting PSA? So, okay. You have? Well, it's actually, I think it's aired in 2017. It was developed by MCA Indonesia. And I think for a year it was, well, not full year, but like it ran for quite a couple of months, quite intensively. So let's see what they're saying. I don't know how to play this. Yeah, you have to go out and then click it.
Numpang jambannya kali aja. Kali.
Gak sayang sama keluarganya.
Bikin jamban kan gak mahal. Gak pakai jamban. Gak jamban. Buruan buat dan pakai jamban sendiri.
Udah cuci tangan pakai sabun.
Okay, so that's a 15-second advertising, public service announcement. I see lost face. Lost in space. Lost in translation. Do you know what it's about? Okay, what is it about? I see like you nodding confidently.
Yeah, yes. It's like introducing people at the village that doesn't have like that, and then they introduce that this is the healthy way to.
It's a healthy way to poop, people. It's a 15-second advertising on the use of toilet and sanitation. You're correct. They're trying to basically promote pooping better. Yeah, better pooping. It's okay. It's a technical term. But it's actually a part of a bigger campaign to prevent stunting. Only one part. The other part is this.
Numpang jambannya kali aja. Dikali.
Gak sayang sama keluarga.
Next, yes. It's like
Bunda mau kamu sehat, bergizi baik, dan pintar. Bisa nggak ya?
Pasti bisa. Kan ada ayah.
Kan ada nenek, kan ada Bu Bidan.
Kan ada saya.
Ayo, dukung ibu mencegah anak dari kekurangan gizi menaun atau stunting yang menghambat perkembangan otak dan tumbuh kembang anak.
Tenang Bu, kan ada kita semua. Cegah kekerdilan, ini penting.
okay. Now I'm going to check. What's the key message of the PSA? Key message. Key message is the Vice President's face. What is the key message? What are they trying to convey? Supporting pregnant women. Anybody else?
I want.
Yes.
It's like it takes a village to prevent stunting.
It takes a village to prevent stunting. That is the concept. And I actually discussed this with the person who actually developed this PSA. That's the concept they're trying to get. Now, my critical question would be, imagine you are a mother and you have a child, an infant, basically, and you're trying to breastfeed maybe. Like, try to really think and place yourself in their shoes. What would you think as a mother seeing that kind of PSA? Because this exercise is really important if you want to work in health promotion. Yes.
I see that as the mother can see that she can get a lot of support from the environment to have a healthy.
So this works in the emotional level. So mothers are feeling that they're supported. My second question would be, after you feel supported, would you know how to actually do it? Does that make your job easier as a mother?
Just knowing that they are around. That's it.
Just knowing that they're around. Because I recently saw an interesting Facebook discussion about this subject, and I completely agree with the critical question that was posed in there. And a lot of people, well, not a lot of people, but like a fellow health promotion practitioner asked the question, at the mother level, at the public level, do they need to know the details of stunting? Do they need to understand the concept? And I would like to pose that question to you because it's an interesting, critical question. It's really important for health promotion and nutrition promotion especially. Do you need to explain stunting to mothers? Why? Okay, they don't know what stunting is. If they don't know, but they know breastfeeding, and they're aiming for the breastfeeding, would they need to know stunting? They need to know? It's like actually, I'm like, this is not a right or wrong answer. Do you want to answer that? They need to know? No, it's not. They need.
Yes,
What-
they need to know.
And the argument would be,
Because sometimes only breast milk is not enough to prevent something.
Okay. So my next question would be, to prevent stunting, what does the mother need to do? These are nutrition students. So you should know this better than I do. So what does a mother need to do to prevent stunting? I'm not asking about the biological prerequisite for the baby. I'm asking on the behavior level, what does a mother need to do to prevent stunting in her kid? Yes.
Since the stunting problem is not just for children, and the children
take all the food that they eat is from mother. So mother need to know that she must consume nutritious food. So it is the point it will be
Okay. So you're saying because stunting requires the mother to eat healthily, she needs to know about the stunting. But the thing that I'm asking is this. Stunting, the prerequisite to prevent stunting involves a lot of behavior, a lot. It's very overwhelming to the mother if you step into their shoes and try to think like a mother. So if you're from a middle-class mother, maybe you have the facilities to do it. You have all the resources, and you have all the things that you need to make sure that the child will be healthy. But if you are from the poor class, and you just see this, you don't know how to access health information. You don't know how to access health services. You don't know where to get help. Do you think this kind of information is enough? That's the thing. I think a lot of people is stuck thinking about the messages. What do you want to say to mother? You want to promote to mother. And you forgot that in order for somebody to be able to do what they are required, you have to make sure that the services is there, the enabling factors is there. If you pee in the toilet and there is a sign saying, don't throw the tissue in the toilet bowl, and you want to comply with that, but you don't find a trash can, what do? Put it in the bowl. This is the missing part of health promotion. I'm not saying you, we often do not empathize enough with the target audience that we are trying to persuade to change. We don't put ourselves in their shoes. We don't think about all the hurdles that she needs to overcome to be able to do what is requested in that kind of ad. And a lot of health communication people just like throw PSAs in the air, get the money out, we have a budget for it, but don't really think about what it does to the health system. So we need to think more strategically in that way. Now, let's look at the international trend. Like, how do people actually do health promotion outside of Indonesia? It's very interesting. with how physical activity will prevent all diseases in your life. No.
They just provide the environment. And people naturally choose better because of it. So that is mostly back to the question of control that we're talking about in the Ottawa Charter. And I know it seems like very, very, I don't know, who am I to actually pose a critical question to this age-old definition of health promotion, but I think it is an important question to be asked. Can we actually provide an environment where people are persuaded to do better things without exerting control over them? That is actually the trend nowadays. And we'll see one that the next one is actually talking about nutrition. So this is up your alley.
So, this project is trying to get you to eat more apples. So the first case, they put the cake and the apple, one piece of apple, and so it's side by side. So people usually take the cake, they don't take the apple. So the first time, the cake wins really far ahead over the apple. In the next scenario, they cut the cake, just half, and then they cut the apples into like smaller pieces and put it in a bowl. So you don't really see like one apple, you see like slices of them. And doing that alone increased the consumption of apples with almost 40%. Just by cutting the cake and slicing the apples. Why? Can you relate what happened? Why people behave that way? Because the size, if you take one apple, you're always going to be like, can I finish it? Can I not? You know, so if people are challenged to actually take a whole apple, they're like, I don't want to waste it. It's a question of food wasting as well, especially in Indonesia. And if you can take several slices,
You may take the whole apple with you if you want to, but it seems to be more manageable in terms of portion. So another case study is being done in the US with school-based feeding. Well, not feeding, they call it canteen over there. They just rearranged the food and put it in eye level, you know, promote certain things, the way things are done in supermarket, but for food in the schools. And that can already alter what kind of healthy food is being consumed by the children. So you can make these changes even without the lecture, the information, the counseling, and all those heavy, information-driven intervention programs. That's why I would like to, again, make a critical question. Can we do this kind of approach for several things? Maybe not all. You know, a lot of health decisions need to be done through counseling, but like for other things, can we make people wash their hands? You know, because I think in London School of Hygiene and Public Tropical Medicine is already trying the nudge theory. Have you ever heard the term nudge? Nudging. Nudging is actually trying to influence your behavior with just small cues that usually is subconscious. So a case of nudging would be painting your toilet to have a clear track from the chambers to the washing area. That's a nudge. You don't even think about it. You don't say, hand washing will make you healthy,
Where have you washed your hands today, or whatever it is. They just paint green, bright color from the door to your washing facilities. And then when you're there, and unfortunately I didn't download the video, there's also a system of lighting that can be used when you step out of the chamber. There's a sensor, noticing that you're out, a light would blink on top of the water faucet. You come there, water faucet, and then there is a drying area, and the light would be blinking there once you wash your hands. Yes, people, it's that advanced nowadays. So if we're still thinking about what to say, how healthy things, we are slightly on the old side of things. So we need to be more creative in terms of how we do health promotion. Now, this last one is a little bit lengthy, and maybe I'm going to cut it, but it's really important because this is the latest trend in health promotion, nutrition promotion, health communication, social behavior change communication, you name it. Everybody's doing this, and I will play the video a little bit and then explain to you later.
What is human-centered design and why does it matter? Also known as design thinking and user-centered design, human-centered design puts people at the core of its products and programs. It's about designing with and not just for the end user, aiming to truly meet the needs of the beneficiary, customer, or client. Just another buzzword? Let's break down exactly what human-centered design is and why it matters for the global development community. Human-centered design has its origins in the private sector, in fields like user interface design and human-computer interaction. While the development community has long recognized the need for more participatory, the sector still receives criticism for design. But what does it mean to design for people? Before creating a solution, development professionals must thoroughly understand the problem by engaging with communities and individuals, spending time with them, listening to their concerns, and understanding the specifics of their lives. This process involves a rigorous collection of qualitative data, which is turned into deep insights about a target audience, and then is used to design a set of workable, personalized, data-driven, inherently context.
Okay, I'm just going to cut there. Did you get what it is saying, or is it too fast? So, a little bit too fast maybe. So, human-centered design is the latest paradigms that is being used in health promotion. And it is a buzzword, meaning everybody wants to use it, it's trendy now, everybody wants to understand it, and they want to say that they're capable of using that kind of approach. Unfortunately, not all of the people using HTCD actually understands what it stands for. So basically, human-centered design is an approach driven by IT and apps developers. So they design computer interface, apps interface, based on how people are using their gadget. So they do a rigorous research first about how people, get the information they want, how people search, what kind of things they need, and then they design the interface and then test them. So testing is a really big thing in human-centered design. Now, you may ask, so what's the difference between the regular planning and the human-centered design? I personally have done kind of both approaches. In the regular planning, you are expected to, sometimes you have to skip the research, the formative research in the front. Everybody don't want to spend their money in research. So you are forced to design without data, hoping that somehow your blind throw will hit the mark, like a small mark 10 meters away. That. Now, human-centered design is actually driven by research at the forefront.
You have to do research, you have to understand the target audience, who are you are trying to influence, and then you design a prototype. People don't expect you to get it right the first time. You have a prototype, and then you try it. If it doesn't work, iteration, meaning you revise. And then you revise, throw it back again, maybe minimum revision, revise again, throw it back, maybe 4 or 5 times, 6 even, I don't know, depends on the team. But it's heavy on that process, rigorous process about understanding the target audience. Now, the difference between the regular one and the ACD one is people is at the forefront. Now, without the ACD process, I still think that should be underlined every time you're doing any kind of health promotion intervention. People should be the center of it. Your target audience should be the center of it. You should understand them, and you should design the program based on their needs, solving their problem, not yours. You may have like a set of objectives when you start something, but then you figure it out so it's in line and it's interesting and it's beneficial for your target audience. Because if you just design something based on what you need, you just need to produce a PSA. You don't care if it works or not. Correct? You just need to print a poster. You don't care if it works or not. But if you design based on what people need, maybe a poster can make a difference, maybe a PSA can make a difference. But unless you flip your paradigms, it's not going to do anything. So, this is based on my personal experience, and please, you're more than welcome to add something to it. You may have like 10-point list or something. And hopefully this is in line with the other 2 speakers. This is a quick one. Begin with the objective in mind. Sometimes you don't even know what is your objective. I recently have a consultation with a client, and I asked him, okay, so what do you want to measure at the end of your program? Don't know. What can be measured? Okay, so what are you trying to do? Well, we want to do something very specific. Okay. Well, we want to try this and see whether it's going to make a dent. Yes, but you need to define what is that objective that you're trying to reach. Otherwise, we cannot plan how to reach it. If you need to go to another city, you need to define that city first and then figure out the way there, correct? That's logic. You don't just drive around and maybe we'll get to Jogja. Semarang. And the second one, plan how you will measure it. That's monitoring and evaluation. Because if you don't define it first, then you cannot measure it. It's very difficult to design something if you are not going to, you don't know how to get there and measure how you get there. Focus on people. That's the ACD. Empathy goes a long way. And this goes to advocacy as well. Sometimes when I meet somebody that I need to convince about a program, and this person can be like very annoying, very demeaning, I try to think, I try to put my shoes in his shoes. Okay, maybe he's bored in his job, doesn't know what to do. He enjoys, taking power because he doesn't have any power on anyone else. So I start thinking about, okay, if I want to propose something, what's in it for him or her? And that requires empathy. Like, why is he doing, or why is she doing things this way? Maybe I can get him or her to be interested if I presented certain things a certain way.
It works for every part of the project. Really understand the issue and its context. I think a lot of people still plan health promotion as an issue in the vacuum. Like it's like a standalone thing. Okay, you want to do breastfeeding, let's promote breastfeeding, but you don't ask the question, okay, what's happening in the houses? What's happening in the families? What's happened to mothers? Why aren't they doing what they're supposed to be doing? Is it really because they're ignorant? Is it really because they don't care about their children? Because a lot of the times I hear health promotion practitioners start blaming their target audience. True or not? Well, I experience it often enough. It's like, man, they're so stupid. They don't understand this. If you design it correctly, they don't even have to understand. There is a chance that people don't really need to understand to do something. That stair/piano proves it. Maybe it doesn't work for every context, but again, study the context. Figure out what you can do within that context. And then the last one, I have so much hope for you people, younger generation. Be curious. Do your research. Because I am having a hard time convincing health promotion practitioners or medical professions to actually do the research in behavior. I am not asking about the statistic on the actual diseases. But we need to know why that happens. What behavior lead to that statistics? If you plan only by the statistic, only by the number of diseases, you are bound to lose your money. You're throwing it down the drain. You're putting it in the toilet bowl, basically. Because you are not going to make a dent. You need to understand why things are happening, what behavior is linked to it, before you can actually make an effective health promotion intervention. So last one would be, what can we do better? And that is why you have the second paper. The second post-it notes. This is not coming from me. Do you still have your paper? Right? Okay. If you have more, don't worry, you're not getting out of it. So who doesn't have paper? So, like, pass it on to your friend. I'm just going to break it up. Need one? Anybody need one? This is just something that you want to do, and then you're willing to do. I'm not going to check it. I'm not going to come back here in 3 years and ask, have you done the things that you write on the second post-it paper? No. But I want you to think about the things that I was questioning and maybe figure out 1 or 2 things that you want to do better if you are working in a health promotion field. Maybe in a year, or maybe you are already doing it now. But think of 1 or 2 things that you can actually do and you're willing to do in the future or right now if you are given a chance to plan and implement a health promotion intervention. Maybe do research better, make sure that you have the right data, make sure that you understand the context, make sure that you understand the behavior that is linked to it, make sure that you have the right objective, start with a defined standpoint. What is your objective? What is your monitoring and evaluation plan? Whatever it is that you can think of and you are willing to do if you're given a chance to actually do health promotion intervention. Wow, it's quiet.
yes. Good, because now that I look at all of you, I'm hoping that this is going to be a milestone in your education, and hopefully in the future you will make better choices in health promotion in Japan. And with that, I would like to thank you for your participation. Thank you for writing it down. Sorry I went through a lot of time. Go ahead, no need to talk, just it's more important. Thank you. Ibu Judy, I'm giving it back to you.